female reproductive system. First, let's see the components. First thing is the primary sex organ. They are the paired ovaries. Why this is called as primary sex organ? Because this is involved in the production of two different things. One is the gamete, that is the egg, and the other one is the female sex hormone, that is estrogen. Okay. And then accessory ducts and glands. Accessory ducts are the paired oviduct. What is its significance? This is the site where fertilization occurs. And then about the glands, three glands are there: mammary gland, then paraurethral gland and Bartholin's gland. These paraurethral gland and Bartholin's gland, it is not in our syllabus, but let's just see that. Bartholin's gland, it is located on either side of vaginal opening. And what is its function? It secretes mucus for lubrication during sexual contact. Okay. And it is homologous to Cowper's gland in males. That means it derived from the same embryonic tissue. And then this paraurethral gland, as the name indicates, it is on either side of urethral opening. And then it is homologous to prostate gland in male. And that is why this paraurethral gland is called as female prostate gland. And it is also called as Skin's gland. Okay. And then here also the role is producing mucus for lubrication during sexual contact. Then antimicrobial role also. So this Bartholin's gland, it is homologous to Cowper's gland in male, and while paraurethral gland, it is homologous to what? Prostate gland in males. Okay. And then the copulatory organ, that means the organ which is involved in sexual contact, that is vagina. And then the external genitalia, it means the organs which are externally visible or placed outside the body. And then the supporting organ is there, that is the uterus. And what is its significance? It is the site where the development of baby occurs. Okay. And next is the features of ovary. It is paired. Then this thing we already discussed. It is the primary sex organ since it is involved in the production of gamete as well as hormones. And then location, lower abdomen. And then length is about 2 to 4 centimeter. And then it is held in position or it is connected to pelvic wall and uterus by what? By what? Ligaments. Okay. And then next is the anatomy of ovary. It is covered by germinal epithelium, a layer called what? So this is the germinal epithelium. This is the germinal epithelium. This thing is the germinal epithelium. And it encloses a part called what? Stroma. And see, the stroma consists of two regions. Outer part is called as cortex and inner part is called as, outer part is called as cortex and inner part is called as what? Medulla. And see their difference. Cortex is the area where it carry what? Follicles at different stages. That is primary follicle, secondary follicle and all. So cortex is the region of stroma where what is present? Follicles at different stages. And this medulla carry neurovascular tissues. It means what? Blood vessels, lymph vessels and nerves. Okay. So this is the difference between cortex and medulla of the stromal part. Clear? And then tunica albuginea, it is present in the ovary also. And the location is, it is inner to germinal epithelium. Okay. So thus the ovary consists of 4 different things. One is the outer layer called germinal epithelium. And then inner to germinal epithelium, what is present? Tunica albuginea is present. And then what? The stromal part, that is the outer cortex. So cortex area. And then what? The inner part called medulla is present. Okay. And then the features of oviduct, it is also paired. Length is about 10 to 12 centimeter. And then this is the tubular part extending from periphery of ovary. See, this is the ovary. Okay. So, and this is what? Oviduct. So oviduct or fallopian tube, it extends from periphery of ovary to where? The uterus area. Okay. So extending from periphery of ovary to uterus. And then parts of oviduct. Oviduct consists of 3 different parts. First, funnel shaped part. This part is called as what? Infundibulum. And then the middle wider part is present. This part is called as what? Ampulla. And the last narrow, the part with narrow lumen, that is what? Isthmus. Okay. So these are the 3 different parts of oviduct. The first funnel shaped part called infundibulum, and then the wider middle part called ampulla, and the last part called what? Isthmus. Clear? And then see this infundibulum, this is the margin of infundibulum, right? So this is the margin of infundibulum, and this margin of infundibulum carry finger-shaped structures. And these finger-shaped structures called as what? They called as fimbriae, and its role is very important. What is the role of fimbriae? It is involved in the collection of ovum after what? Ovulation. Okay. So what are fimbriae? They are the finger-shaped structures where at the margin of infundibulum. And what is its role? The collection of egg after ovulation. And then this thing is also important. This is the site where fertilization occurs. We discussed the area where the organ where fertilization occurs, that is the oviduct. And within the oviduct, which is the specific part, ampullary isthmic junction. So ampullary isthmic junction is the site where, or the specific area where what occurs? Fertilization occurs. Clear? So this is about the different parts of oviduct. And the next is uterus. It is single. Then shape is inverted pear fruit shape, that is like this, inverted pear fruit shape, that is anterior part is broader while the posterior part is narrow. And then here also it is connected to pelvic wall by what? Ligaments. And then it is covered by 3 different layers. Outer layer is there, then one middle layer is there, and then what? Inner layer is also there. So 3 different layers are there. Outer layer is called as perimetrium. So this is the outermost protective layer, which is called as what? Perimetrium. And then the middle layer is present. That middle layer is called as myometrium. The word myo means what? Muscles. Okay. So this is the muscular layer. This is the layer which is involved in which process? Parturition process. Okay. And then the innermost layer is called as what? Endometrium. And this is the vascular layer. That means vascular means what? It is supplied with blood vessels. So the outer protective layer is perimetrium, then the middle muscular layer which is involved in parturition, that is myometrium, and the innermost vascular layer is what? Endometrium, and the function is what? This is the layer that undergo cyclic changes during what? Menstrual cycle. Okay, so the layer that undergo cyclic changes during menstrual cycle, which is that layer? Endometrium. So this is about the coverings of uterus. And then the parts of uterus. This raised part is called as fundic. And then the part of uterus to which the fallopian tube join. So this is the site where what join? The oviduct or fallopian tube join, right? So this part is called as what? Cornua. Okay, so the first part is the fundic, that is the raised part. And then the cornua, this is the part to which what join? Oviduct join. And then this is the body of the uterus. And the last part is what? This is the cervix. Okay. So cervix is actually the last part of uterus. So these are the different parts. Fundic part is there, then cornua, then the body of uterus, and then the last part is called cervix. And then vagina, which is the copulatory organ which is involved in what? Sexual contact. This includes a vaginal canal and what? A vaginal orifice is there, or opening is present. And this opening is partially covered by a membrane, and that membrane is called as hymen. Okay. And what is the significance of this hymen? It often torn during the first intercourse. That means in some women it may persist even after first sexual contact or coitus. Okay. And then it can also be broken during other physical activities like vigorous activities like horse riding, tree climbing, cycling, etc. Okay, so what we can conclude here is presence or absence of hymen, it cannot be taken as the reliable indicator of what? Virginity. And then one term is here, birth canal. This is the cervical canal and vagina together called as what? Birth canal, through which the baby is coming out. And then the external genitalia, the organ which are externally visible. The first thing is mons pubis. So this is the rounded mass of fatty tissue over pubic bones. Okay. And then it is covered by what? Skin and pubic hairs. Pubic hairs means the hairs develop during the puberty time. And then from this mons pubis, 2 fold of tissue arises. 2 fold of tissue arises. One outer, this is the one outer larger fleshy fold of tissue. So this outer larger fleshy fold of tissue is present. And this is called as what? Labia majora or major leg. So outer larger fleshy fold is present from this mons pubis, and this is called as labia majora. Okay. Then inner to this labia majora, another fold of tissue is present, and this fold of tissue is called as what? Minor lip. So inner to major lip, what is present? So this fold of tissue, which is inner to what? Labia majora. And this fold of tissue is called as what? Labia minora. So it is inner, smaller, and then it is sebaceous also, slimy in nature also. And this is called as what? Labia minora or minor lip. Labia minora or what? Minor lip. This thing is labia majora or what? Major lip. Okay. And then at the upper junction, see, this is the labia minora, right? So at the upper junction, that means here. So this is the upper junction of right and left labia minora. What is present? A tiny finger shaped structure. It is present, and this is called as what? Clitoris, and it is above urethral opening. Okay, and this clitoris, since it carry a large number of sensory nerve endings, it is an easily stimulated area, and that is why clitoris is homologous to male glans penis. Okay, so clitoris is homologous to what? Which structure in males? Glans penis. Clear? And then this is the urethral opening. So this is the clitoris, and then this is the urethral opening, and then this is what? Vagina. Clear? And this is the anal opening. Okay. So this is about female external genitalia. And then mammary gland. It consists of glandular tissue and fat, variable amount of fat. It consists of, so let's see the anatomy. So let's see the anatomy of mammary gland. So it consists of mammary lobes. So all these are the mammary lobes, which is about 15 to 20 in number. 15 to 20 mammary lobes are present in each mammary gland. And these mammary lobes carry what? Mammary lobules. Okay. And these mammary lobules, so these are the mammary lobules. And these mammary lobules carry sac-like structures called alveoli. Alveoli. And this alveoli carry this milk-producing cells called lactocytes. The milk produced in the mammary lobule will be collected by the tubular structure called mammary tubule. This is the mammary tubule. Okay. So the mammary tubule. So all these are the mammary tubules. Then from mammary tubule, the milk will be collected by the mammary duct. So all these are the mammary duct. Mammary duct. Then the milk is transported to the another part called mammary ampulla. So these are the mammary ampulla, and finally it will be taken by the lactiferous duct. So these are the lactiferous duct, which opens to the nipple area, and the nipple is surrounded by a dark area, and that is called as areola. Okay. So this is about the anatomy of mammary.